So obviously you two are together. Can you tell us what's going on? Are you two together, or let us know.
We are together.
We man, as we as together as you can be.
We locked in, like
For real.
So how did this all start? Somebody start from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna take it actually all the way back to like some stuff people honestly really don't know. And that is that when I first saw Jamie, it was like the third or fourth episode I ever watched of Pop the Balloon. And I saw her on there and I was like, wait, this show has women like of this caliber? Because I'm gonna be real, when I watch the show, it was more like, okay, this is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? People are not really, you know what I'm saying, meeting long term on the show like this. That was my thought. And so I was kind of skeptical. But when I saw her on the show, I was like, this is a quality woman and she's really beautiful and everything. And so I actually, at that time, I reached I reached out to her in the DMs after her episode, and this is back in like what, August?
August, yeah.
Just like reached out to her, and I sent her a couple messages, and she didn't respond. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, okay, she just got on the show.
I didn't see the messages. I didn't see the
Okay.
messages.
She was like, I'm like, when you first go on the show, everybody, you kind of famous kind of thing. Everybody messaging her, comment on the pictures and everything. And so I kind of was like, okay, well, she's not interested. But in that time frame though, too, I would like reach out and kind of message on a couple of her stories, things like that. I reached out to her about her book.
Never saw any of them.
Never saw any of my messages. So I'm like, okay, well, that's just is what it is. I guess you can kind of take over from, kind of where everything happened after that.
Right. So then Jason went on the show, and I remember this day I was laying on my couch and I was watching the show, and I was on the phone with my best friend, and he walked out, doing his little thing, and I was like, "Who's that? Who is that?" So I was waiting for like the Instagram to pop up. I went on Instagram, followed him, liked all his pictures. I went all the way back to like 2021. I was liking his pictures from all the way back then so he could notice me. And I was waiting. I was waiting for him to like slide into the DM.
But yeah, hold on. Wait, look. Okay. So before she said what she about to say, actually no, go ahead. Because I'll say it next.
Yeah, so I was waiting for him, and he never messaged me. He never liked any of my pictures. He didn't message me. At the time, I didn't know that he had already messaged me from August. But yeah. So I was like, I thought he wasn't interested, so I left it alone.
So I never like, when I went on show everything, all your likes are. It was my time, right? Where like you getting hundreds of likes over every couple minutes and comments and everything. So I never really saw it. But then one day I randomly saw like her name on like a story or something. I was like, Simply Jamie. I was like, hold on, is that the Jamie from like the girl like from the Pop the Balloon show that I reached out to? Went to her profile. It was her, and I was like, wait, she followed me? I was like, okay, let me go and I'm gonna send her a message. I went to the messages real quick, BM, and I deleted all like 6 of my messages that she never read because I didn't want to look goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude he didn't reached out to me, and then you just like randomly see the new message and be like, dang, this guy reached out 6 times. So I deleted those, and then I messaged her, and I was like, hey, we should have been on the same episode, right? And what did you say back?
He was like, yeah, we should have matched or something like that. And I was like, we're here now. And that's how it started.
And then from there, what was the next day?
Yeah, so the next day we jumped on a phone call. We talked for like almost 7 hours, like literally almost 7 hours.
One phone call.
One phone call.
And I don't do that.
Me neither.
Like neither way. Honestly, yeah, neither one of us are people like that. We don't.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, my family, my friends know. Text me, bro. I don't like being on the phone like that, but like we were on the phone literally for
7 hours.
Almost 7 hours.
The only reason we got off the phone is because I had to work. Otherwise, we would have been on the phone for like the whole day. But yeah, that's how we got here.
Okay, all right. I want to take it back to the beginning as well because I remember the time that Jason, you text me one time and you said, We got a match. I looked at the text. I was like, "What is this?" So I was like, "What's going on? What do you mean we got a match?" And he was like, "Yeah, remember Jamie from episode 18? Yeah, me and her were talking. We matched." I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be transparent right here, right? When you text me that, I was like, "Let me give you a call." So I called you, Jason, and I was like, "Jason, don't waste my time." You know, I was serious. I said, "Don't waste my time because you seem like a type of guy that, you know, might not be ready." And I said it straight up. I said, "Listen, because all this noise, your episodes, there was all these group chats, people, your name kept popping up. Jason this, Jason did this, Jason this." And I was like, "Jason, there must be a reason why your name keeps getting brought up." And I was like, "You seem like somebody that likes drama, maybe, you know, like there's a lot going on. And also from your past match, like you're so heavily into God. I feel like if you're so heavy, if God is such a big part in your life, you know, why didn't you bring that up on the episode? You know, why didn't you tell the woman that you match with exactly what it is?" So I feel like there were some things that I wasn't seeing clearly with Jason. So I was like, "Jason, don't waste my time," because Jamie is somebody that's actually looking for a real relationship. So I said, before you even think about trying to date someone like her, you need to make sure that you fix yourself first. I said, if you're not fixed, then you're going to be wasting her time, you're going to be wasting my time, because I don't want to, you know, give you advice and all of this when it's just going to be something that goes in one ear, comes out the next. You feel me? So I spoke to Jason and I was like, okay, let me see what happens. And surprisingly, Jamie, you messaged me as well. I spoke to you and I told Jamie actually exactly the same thing that I told Jason. I said, this is Jamie as well. I said, listen, this is where it is. I need you to make sure you speak to him, make sure that he's ready. And then what I done was I actually got both of you on a call and I spoke to both of you at the same time.
Yeah.
Remember that call?
Yep.
And I said to both of you, I said, listen, guys, if you two are serious, then that's fantastic. And you two keep saying that you want God to be at the center of your relationship. I said, if you are saying that, make sure you're practicing this. Do not just say, God, be in a relationship, protect us, but then you're not really actually practicing anything. Because a lot of people say the word God, but they're not praying together. They're not putting God first.
Yeah.
They don't look for God's guidance. So I was like, make sure you guys are about what you're speaking about.
Yeah.
And I also said, make sure you're both not speaking to multiple different people at the same time. So I said to Jason, if you're speaking to a lot of girls, just cut that off. Jamie, if you have anything going on, make sure you're both for each other. And you both seem like you was ready to do that. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me leave it alone. Let me see how it goes. And surprisingly, I just keep saying great things between you two. And I was surprised. I was surprised because it takes a lot for people to be serious in this generation. To really be intentional. So, first question that I want to ask you guys is, you say that you want God to be at the center of your relationship. So tell us about that. How is it going? How is this journey going with God? You're putting God first in your relationship. How are you looking up to God to help you in the relationship that you have?
You started big good stuff.
Yeah, there is no Jamie and Jason without God. Like, our love story cannot be told without mentioning God at some point, because he has been like the anchor at every stage in our relationship, even from the beginning. So I remember the conversation that I had with you, PM, and you had your concerns. And typically for me, I'm not the type of person, like, just because you show interest, it doesn't mean that I'm like necessarily gonna jump on it per se. I also had my, hesitations, and I needed my assurance, and that assurance came from God every step of the way. For example, like you said, like, we have to be people who are actually practicing what we're saying. So in my experience with dating, I've met people who claim that they're Christian or they have a relationship with Jesus, and it's just what they say. But then when you actually observe their lifestyle, they're not actually living a lifestyle that glorifies God. With Jason, it like I wanted to know if he had a lifestyle like that, but it's like I didn't know how to like really ask or how to really like observe or discern or anything like that. So I would just like talk to God about it. I would pray about, like, God, I wonder, does he have a relationship with you where he communicates with you? And every time that I had a concern and I would pray about it, Jason would call me like, hey, I don't know why, but I just feel like telling you this. Or like, hey, like one time I remember I was like, I wonder what his personal time with God looks like. I wonder if he has a personal prayer life. And I remember he texted me right after I had the thought. I didn't even pray about it. I just thought about it. And he texted me and he was like, hey, I know I'm supposed to call you, but I'm actually going to spend some time with God right now. I feel pulled to like just go read the word. And I'm like, I didn't even tell you. And several things have happened like that where it's like, I talk to God, like, God, I don't know about this because this, and the third. And then he will show me through Jason without me actually even communicating to Jason, you know? So that's just one example of the ways that God has confirmed to me. But for me, my confirmations are different for him, but because he kind of had like more confidence in the like journey of the relationship in the beginning. But for me, I was more hesitant. But God is the one who gave me the confirmation, like it's okay to open up. It's okay to like, you know, just allow him to be him.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny, BM. We all have our internal dialogues with God, right? It's different things. We're like, well, God, you have to do this if you're going to do this. If I'm going to do this, then you got to do this. And I remember one of the things, you know, being previously married, I know one of the things that I told God, I was like, okay, I said, I'm going to basically kind of just shut off that reality, um, unless you bring somebody so undeniably from you that I can't ignore it and that it overwhelms me. And honestly, it was like I was starting to kind of come around to like the idea of, okay, maybe I can kind of open up again. But then with Jamie, I was like, okay, wait. I'm like, from that first conversation, it was so much confirmation on even the small things that I asked God for that I was like, what is going on? And like we have this funny thing we say, we like to each other, like, is this real? Like, is this real? It's been 6 months now, or what, 5 months now, and we're like, is this real? Kind of thing. And that was kind of how that first conversation was. I mean, I remember talking to my parents about her early on, and I just kept referencing Proverbs, I think it's 31:10, where it says, like, who can find a virtuous woman, right? Her worth is far above rubies. And then the scripture after says her husband's heart does safely trust in her. And I think that was the biggest key point for me with Jamie, was that from an early, even a weirdly early stage in our relationship, my heart truly was placed in her hands, and it's truly trusted in her. And it's like I have complete nakedness and vulnerability with her, to where it's like, I have no fear. You know, as men, we have this fear of like, we can't show certain things all the time, right? It's like I have this complete openness to say, hey, this is fully who I am. This is, what this looks like. This is what this may have looked like. I'm kind of this person, whatever. And not only is she like a safe space, but that, because that's a kind of a cliche term, she's not just a safe space. She's a safe space, and she's a nurturing space that helps me to cultivate even that vulnerability, to be able to bring forth light out of it. She'll be able to take any situation where I'm showing vulnerability, or I'm showing any weakness, or anything that's scary, or anything that's like something we don't necessarily want to share with our women. Um, and she'll take that and she'll make it into something where it's like it's like presented now as something that I can grow from, and something that I can take into go into business or go into whatever it is. And so there's been just so many different things, even down to our you know are just fun likes, the things we're interested in, right? Everything is completely equally yoked. And even with, us in general, we're creating a YouTube channel. We titled it Equally Yoked, right? Because everything about us, if we can put it into one term, it is just truly equally yoked. Like in every way, every shape, every form, the way we think, the way we process our worship of God. We spend a lot of time worshiping God together, right?
Hmm.
Praying, worshiping together. And it's interesting. Usually I've not really had a strong sense of that ever in a relationship where it's
Hmm.
like I can truly come to God together with the woman that I'm with, and we can truly be on one accord, and so to
Hmm.
have that, it just strengthens our relationship in a way that I didn't even really think was possible, until now.
Okay. All right. So so that's amazing to hear, guys. It's amazing because you both actually went deep and you gave valid points.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go back to the beginning.
Mhm.
How long ago was it after when you broke things off with your last match till you started speaking to Jason?
Probably.
So how long after?
So let me see. Probably 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, probably like started talking about 3 to 4 weeks when I met her, and then a couple weeks after that is when she was it 2 weeks after when I flew to Sacramento. About 2 weeks, yeah,
Yeah, two,
yeah,
three.
about 3 to 4 weeks after, and then 2 weeks after that is when I flew to Sacramento. We met in person the first time.
Okay. So do you feel like you felt like you found the one? That's why you were so ready to quickly move forward and make sure you secure Jamie?
Man, it was it was like I had like a puzzle piece that was only this specific fit, and it was like for the first time I had actually found that puzzle piece, and it
Mm.
was immediately like the cliche terms, like we fit all the cliche terms, the love at first sight, all the things you hear, all the things of you wait and God's going to bring this person, like we truly fit that. Like it was a situation where immediately after that first conversation, I'm like, this is her. This is her. Absolutely, without any question. And every single day after that, it's just been a continuation of that.
So Jamie, how did you feel when you first met him? Was you scared? Like, obviously because um virtually speaking to somebody is completely different to me and someone in real
Yeah.
life. So what
Yeah.
was you did you have any worries? Like let us know what was going through your mind.
Like it's interesting because most people like they match and then they fly back to where they're from and then they work it out there. We never saw each other in person. I only ever saw him through a screen, so I didn't
Right.
know what to expect. I mean, obviously I knew his personality through like our FaceTime calls, but like in person it can be different, so I didn't know what it was going to be like. But when I first came there, like of course I was nervous. I mean, we all have our little nerves, but it quickly went away. Like there's just such a level of comfort, and like I always say, like I feel safe with him. Like there's a level of like safety and security that like it's like it penetrated into like my spirit and my soul. So like
Hmm.
the nerves went away quickly. Like we just clicked like that.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So Jason, tell me, right? How do you feel when you first when you started speaking to her through DM or whatever and it started working? Because I know you was happy. You text me, you was over the moon.
BM
But
put me on
once,
blast, man.
Tell us more.
um, yeah, tell us what is it about Jamie that you wanted so much?
Man, BM, honestly, I really can't explain the feeling that was attached to Jamie, but it was one of those things where on paper as well as off paper, as far as the heart goes, as far as the spirit goes. I tell her this, even I told her a couple days ago. From what I can perceive, Jamie encompasses every single attribute that a man could pray for and could not even imagine to pray for. And that's on every facet of her being. I mean, from everything, for me, personally, every single thing, looks wise, beauty wise, her mindset spiritually, just her personality, business wise, her thought patterns, how she processes the world, how she perceives the world. Everything is where I'm like, you know what? Like, we'll just have little moments, be like, dude, like, what the heck? Even now, it's like we'll be like certain things, be like, seriously, like for real, like you're really like this, and she says things to me, she's like, are you real? Like you tell, like, are you real? She randomly would just say that, and I'm like, baby, I'm real. I'm real, you real, we real, and it's real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Jamie, what was it about him that you liked?
Okay, so obviously when I first saw him, it was physical attraction. It was immediate physical attraction. But I really liked how he carried himself, how he presented himself. He was very calm. Very articulate, very intelligent. I could tell he was, he had a good like career, business life going. He spoke about God. So I was interested. It piqued my interest. I wasn't sold because I didn't know him, but I was interested. And that's why I reached out to him on Instagram. But the more that we continue to talk, especially that first conversation, like there were so many things that just aligned with like the things that we were looking for. Personality, interest, purpose, vision for our lives, parenting styles, like how like the what we view as like the role of like a wife and a husband, things like that. Even certain things about like our theology, like like because someone's Christian doesn't mean that that is necessarily your match if you're Christian.
Right.
So you have to make sure that like you guys align on certain things. We aligned on so many things that by the end of that conversation, I was like, God, what is going on and what is this? I'm
Right.
interested, but I'm not. I don't know. You gotta, give me that confirmation. And like I said previously, he gave me the confirmation. And once I knew that God was in this, it gave me the green light to like open up, and me opening up even more. Like our relationship has really just been flourishing. It doesn't mean that we haven't gone through challenges or anything like that. We definitely have, but even in those challenges, we've seen God's hand through those challenges. So
Yeah. And
That's good.
also, BM, we've had it, God has used us, separately to encourage each other. Even in my notes right now, I have 3 different messages. One from, I think it was November, one from February, and then one from about the actually January. So it's 3 different messages. One is a video, voice message that Jamie sent me that God had spoke to her about something concerning me. The other 2 were just messages, because she's very prophetic, and God speaks to her a lot in many different ways. And there's been different things I've been going through, or just different things that I've been thinking about, or whatever. And God will send her word, and she'll encourage me. She'll just say, "Hey, I'm not sure why I'm feeling this," just like she said for her, for me. And send me different things, and I'll be sitting. There's a message she sent me, the one in November, when I was going through something in my life. And it's like, because you were in Kenya at the time, it was like 3 in the morning or something like that. And she just randomly texted me about 3 paragraphs. And I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out as I'm reading it. And I'm like, God, who is this woman that you brought me? Because it was a situation where I wanted to talk to somebody about something, but it was nighttime there. I wasn't going to wake her up. My parents live in another part of the country. I wasn't going to wake them up, and to have her not just be awake because God woke her up, but because he knew that in that moment I needed something. He said, "Man, I wasn't going to reach out to her because I want to bother her, but for him to just speak to her on his own accord." And so that she reached out to me, and I'm sitting here reading this, and I'm being encouraged by it, but at the same time, I'm just just getting emotional about it, because I'm like, wow, God, you show me how much you truly love me because of you bringing Jamie, right? I have learned how much God truly loves me, how much Jesus cares for me, because he has brought me her, because of what she means to me, because of what she brings to me. She's truly invaluable, truly invaluable. And so, yeah, I mean, it would just, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, the way you two speak about each other is amazing. This is what it's all
All
about.
about.
Yes, yes.
The famous
I
line.
was curious to see if you both listened to some of my advice that I give you. Because we've actually spoke about 6 or 7 times. We actually speak regularly. You two check up, you check in, and let me know how things are going. Ask me for some guidance or advice, and I give it to you. And I'm like, are they gonna listen? And every time we spoke, it kept getting better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see a theme here. I said, this is what it's about. So have you two, Tommy, where have you both been? Like, you've met up a lot. I can take it, right? So, where
Yeah.
have you been? Let us know.
Yeah. I mean,
We've been all over.
we've been all over the country. Right now, we're on vacation. I'm gonna start with this, and then I'll tell you some of the places we've been, kind of thing. So right now, BM, we are on vacation, and the location we're at, it's gonna be on our YouTube video that we're gonna release and everything. But Jamie literally surprised me with a whole week vacation for my birthday.
Wow.
She took up everything. I had no
Wow.
idea anything about it, man. Like, if I'm talking
Wait,
about
wait,
from
wait,
point
wait,
up,
wait, 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 wait.
look,
1 second.
being
So she did this for you.
BM, she she took care of every part of the vacation. I mean, beautiful locations. Everybody's gonna see where we are, but she took me two places I've never been before. We went to a couple different locations, two places,
Mm-hmm.
two states, places I've never been before in my entire life, and experiences I've never had before. And right now we're, on the last bit of the vacation right now,
Mm-hmm.
and just surprises the attention to detail, man. It's just crazy to me. I look at it's not like I would expect that, right? And I've never
Right.
had that before. I've never in my life even had anything close to this being done for me. By somebody I'm dating, and so that just by itself is just crazy. And even thinking about Valentine's Day, right? For Valentine's Day, so I came and surprised her in LA, like the week after, but before that, and on Valentine's Day, we were exchanging gifts and everything, and BM, she got me like this, like it was like 7 or 8 different little gifts, and they were all numbered, and it was like in a specific order, for her to like, that she had got me. And it was like the thing that was so crazy because she knows I'm a person, one of my love languages is just anything that can make my life easier. Right. I do a lot, business, work, stuff like that, my son, everything. So I like things that make my life easier. She picked out like 7 or 8 specific little gifts that were all tied to something that I had said to her that I needed or whatever in general. So even things like
Wow.
car chargers, because I'm always on the road.
His phone's
My
always
phone's
dead.
always dead. Because she bought me just different things, and so
So
but
she listens. She listens. She
she
listens. She takes
listens,
notes.
man.
Mhm.
And but outside of that, we've been to Minnesota
He came to see my family. He came to meet my family.
Wow. Wait,
Which
wait,
is
wait.
for
You've
Christmas.
already seen
Yeah.
each other's
a huge
families.
deal.
Okay, we'll get into that in a bit. Continue.
So he came to Minnesota. Obviously, I've been to Sacramento a few times. We've been to San Francisco. We've been to LA.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait,
we've been
you lot
to.
have done it. You lot
Let
have
me
done
see.
more than some people that have done in a year or two. Wow.
Man, and
it's like it's weird because it's like it doesn't feel like we've known each other for as short as we have. Like it feels like we've known each other for a really long time. So the fact that it's only been like 5 months or so, it's like it doesn't feel like we've done so much. Like so much has happened in those like so many big life events have happened in those 5
Right.
months that we've experienced together. But it's just, an indicator of what's to come, So looking forward to the future as well.
yeah, I would say one of our favorite things that I got to do was I surprised Jamie the week after Valentine's Day with a Manny Wells concert.
It's my
And
favorite artist.
Oh,
our
wow.
favorite, honestly, our
Oh,
favorite
yes.
artist, and
Let
we
let the
went.
audience know who the artist is if they don't.
Oh yeah, Manny Wells. He is an Afrobeats kind of vibesy
Soul
soul
artist, yeah.
artist. Amazing artist.
And the crazy thing is, this is weird. It's a very weird thing to ask God for, but I really wanted to be with somebody because I'm African, I'm Kenyan, and I love being African, and I wanted to be with somebody who didn't necessarily have to be African, but understands African culture. And Jason is like African. He's American. He's African. Like he eats the food. He listens to he knows all the songs. Like he
Right.
learning he's learning my language. Like he's African,
No, for
So
real.
so 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 Jason, how do you find her culture? Like I know she's
That's a
probably
good
been letting you
question.
in on what
you,
happens. How you
yeah.
finding it?
I absolutely, maybe I'm just biased, um, but number one, to answer your question, I love the culture, and I think that cultures like hers, a lot of different African culture, especially East African culture, from what I've experienced, through hers, I feel like if the world and people, especially in America, were like that with their families and things like that, I believe it could restore so many issues that are in our world. The respect factor, just how they acknowledge each other, how they care for each other, the togetherness, the community, the sense of community, the respect for parents, the admonishment for certain things, the culture, even the traditional things that they follow, like kind of offering to the belief systems and everything. I love that because it just adds a different structure, a different respect, and a different value, to how we do life. A lot of different African cultures, especially Kenyan culture or East African culture in general, things are more serious. It's like, meeting her parents was a serious thing. It wasn't just like you're dating a girl and you go over her parents' house. Hey, how's it going, Mr. and Mrs. Don, how's it going? It's a serious event, right? It was a thing. We had multiple conversations. Hey, are you ready for this? Are we ready for this? Her having separate conversations with her dad, asking, hey, I want to introduce him. Is it okay to do this? Just that kind of respect, and um, her being raised in that, I think is why she is partly, why she's so amazing as a woman, a woman of God, a woman in general, just her level of class, elegance, respect. Yeah, I think it's amazing.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good to hear. And how was it meeting each other's families, Jamie? Tell us. How was it? I mean, so did he meet your dad?
Yeah, he met my dad.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a big deal for me. It's really a big deal for me because I don't bring people to meet him. And they know that, they know that I don't bring people to meet them. So the fact that I
Hmm.
even brought it up, like, hey, there's somebody that I want you to meet, they didn't even ask any questions. They were happy. They said, bring him. We're ready for you to get married. Bring him.
I must say, African parents is like you really have one chance,
Yeah.
to bring somebody, and if that
Yeah.
chance does not work, just best believe if you bring another person, it's gonna be very difficult for them to trust that person. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to get it right. So did you really feel like he was the right one for you?
I knew that he was. I knew that he was. My only concern was like, is this the right time to do it? So we did have several conversations because I needed to communicate to him how big of a deal it was. Like, okay, you're really about to do this. Like, are you sure? Do you want to wait? It doesn't have to be now. But he insisted. He was actually the one that brought up like that he wanted to come and visit and meet them. So he
Okay.
seemed like he was sure. I talked to my parents. They were happy to meet him. When they met him, they loved him. It's hard not to love him. Honestly, he's very charismatic and so everything went well.
Yeah. So did your parents ask what's his job, or what does he do? Did they
About
ask all
his
these
job.
questions?
It's a
Yeah.
double.
What does he do
Oh,
for work?
parents,
Did they ask who is this
grandparents.
person?
That's the first question they ask BM. That is the very
Exactly.
first question they ask.
So and
But
so when he came,
mhm.
they liked him. But what advice did they give you? Did they give you both advice? 'Cause I know Africans, they're gonna tell you both. Guys, listen.
So he had a very long conversation with my dad that he refuses to tell me what they discussed. So I don't know
Okay.
what he was told. But my parents like they talked to me about like the seriousness of marriage. They didn't really they love him and they didn't have anything bad to say about him. But more so they talked to me about the seriousness of marriage and just, making sure that I understand what I'm getting into and like, because that's where this is headed towards is we both are on the same page about that.
Yeah.
But that was really it. Like they're on board. Like they love him. They love us and they love seeing me like this. We were just talking about this yesterday because my family has never really seen me like this. And so it's kind of like weird for me. It's kind of weird for them too. but like they're happy that I'm happy.
That's good. That's good. That's great. That's great to hear. So,
Yeah.
Jason, has Jamie seen your family?
So we've not met in person. We actually she'll be meeting my whole family
Next month.
next month. My baby sister is
Okay.
getting married. And so
Okay.
she'll be coming with me to the wedding. And my whole family's my family's huge. My grandmother had 15 kids. I have like 49 or 48 cousins, and they're all married and a huge family. And so everybody's excited to meet her. We've had many FaceTime conversations with my parents. We have a
Mm-hmm.
group chat. We talk on the daily. She talks to my parents all the time. Yeah, so I mean, they are very much not just on board, but my mom specifically even told Jamie, she's like, I know my son. She said, if you got my son like this, you must be a special gal. You got to be a special gal. And so, yeah, and my dad loves her as well. He's many times said, she's not just a nice woman. She's a good woman. And that holds a lot of weight. Being just a truly good woman, which is just I can go into that, but that's a whole different ball game than what's popular nowadays. Honestly, when we knew right off the bat kind of that this was like going to be a real thing, that's when we reached out to BM. We reached out to you, and I reached out to you. I was like, it's a match, kind of thing. But really, I wanted to say more, but I was like, you know what? I know BM. I know how he gonna be. I know this is fine. He was like, bruh, stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, should I call? What should I do? And I knew that I was like, okay. Once we let him know this is gonna be, this is legit, this is serious. We gotta let him know we're serious about this and go forward with that. And just the different conversations, because right off the bat, we were like, you know what, BM and Arlette, not just are you guys great role models and great moguls to the world, especially to the love community and of Black people, everybody in general. Honestly, everybody loves you guys, and because of what you do. It was deeper than that for us. For us, I looked at it as God truly used you and Arlette for what you cultivated to bring me, who the woman is going to be my wife, the woman I believe God truly designed for me. She believes I'm the guy, the guy God designed for her. And that happened because of you guys following the voice of God in your life, not even knowing how you would, could potentially affect somebody. And we didn't even meet on the show, as far as on the actual show, right? And so, just we looked at you guys as, even now, of course, as not just mentors, but mentors who are being led by God, who are the one of the sole reasons why God's plan even played out in our lives.
And I must say as well, when I started seeing things work out for you guys, I said this is great, because a lot of people say, oh, God is gonna bless me. I'm waiting for God to bless me, and some people think that by God blessing you, He's just gonna, give you the person right in front of you. Like, there you go.
Mhm.
And sometimes people don't realize that God will bless you in so many unexpected ways.
Yes.
There's a reason why it didn't work out for you on the show.
Yeah.
And your reason is because of this.
Yeah.
So many things are already planned out, by God.
Yes.
And this is what it's meant to be. But I do want to say that for people out there at home, make sure you put yourselves out there as well. God will bless you, but God may put you in a place where you don't want to go to, and you end up meeting somebody that is your future. So make sure you pray, but also socialize. Put
Yeah.
yourself out there. Like that's why I like our show, because we are making it so that people actually come and meet people face to face. So you actually
Yeah.
see people in real life. Where a lot of people dating virtually is not bad, but eventually you're gonna have to go and see that person. So if you know that you're looking for somebody, put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're both following Christ is absolutely amazing. Me and Arlette, we love Jesus Christ. You understand? And we follow his guidance because we are nothing without our Lord and Savior.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, Jason, do you feel like Jamie being there brought you closer to Christ?
Absolutely. Um, Absolutely 1,000 times. Like just to reiterate what I said earlier, not not only did she bring me closer to Christ, but she's like a physical image of Christ to me. She shows the image of Christ through her being. She shows me his love through her being. She shows his confirmation. We it's like I now have a true partner who I can go to God with. We pray anything, any kind of issue that rises, whatever. We don't say, oh, we don't argue with each other about it. We don't say, let's go find a physical, solution. We get on our knees, we hold hands, we put on worship music, we go before the throne of God. And that's how we do things. And it keeps us in a cocoon of his presence where a lot of things on the outside of us can happen, whatever goes on, we're not affected. We are truly in the cocoon of God's presence because we don't just keep God, in our relationship. We keep him at the center of it. And we're very, very, we're resilient with that. We're not, because some people, they'll start off doing it. It's like, oh, we'll do it, pray a couple times, whatever. No, it's a normal thing for us. We are constantly sending worship songs, sending scripture, sending different things to each other. And like I said, because of that, she's helped me to grow in Christ because it's now I have not just an accountability partner, but I have somebody who is there saying, hey, how was your worship session? Or hey, let's go on a fast. Or hey,
Right.
I'm hearing God call me to do this. Seek the Lord and see what He's hearing you to do. That, that, or even different small things like with social media, right? So I do, I kind of wanted to get into life coaching, and so I do a lot of things on social media, speaking different messages to people and things like that. I remember one time specifically, I had talked to Jamie. I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna be done with this. I don't think I said, and she's like, why? I said, because I can make a video. It's a comedy video and it'll get, 100,000 views or something like that. But then I make a video that's speaking about something that I prayed and God spoke to me about. And then it's like 1,200 or 500 or 600. And she was like, what she said to me was simply, she asked me a question. She said, are you posting for the applause of people? Or are you posting because God spoke to you about something and he wanted you to share it? And I was like, yikes. You're right. And so just accountability, just keeping me my head focused on him.
And like I want to bring up one point. The interesting thing about like our journey, I don't know about you, but for me, when I went on the show in August, it was episode 18, a lot of the comments that I was seeing like on YouTube or Instagram were actually from like a lot of like Christians. A lot of Christians made a lot of like reaction videos, like, why would she go on the show looking for a husband? Like, you need better discernment. You really think you're gonna find someone on the show? You know, you can't put God in a
like, like,
box.
like I said, God will bless you unexpectedly. Like,
He will move
um,
how he wants to. Hmm.
yes, yes. Listen, you can meet anybody anywhere. It's like in this occasion here, it's kind of like by Jason meeting you, he changed his ways, to be closer to Christ. So this is a great example of following Christ. You know, this is great, guys. There is nothing wrong with you coming on our show if you're a Christian. There is nothing wrong with that. You can meet your person. I think a lot of people forget about one thing. The most important thing that people forget about coming on the show is love. I think some people realize like, oh, this is a show. People are getting a lot of views and stuff like that, but they're forgetting that there's love to be found. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm a real person. I like to be real. So my show, the way that I run it, is how I feel a show should be run. With people being themselves, people being real, being a true version of themselves that we see on the screen, and hopefully behind the scenes they're the same person. That's what I like to see. So I think now people are starting to get it. We are now at that stage where it's like, if you come on the show and you act different or you do this, people will see and people will call you out. But you definitely have to put yourself out there. And I'm so glad that you both met each other like this. And you both look so happy. It's great to see. You're both happy. You both just compliment each other so well. Jason, I know that you have a child, right? I wanted to ask, has Jamie met your child?
Yeah. She's met him many, many times. They have like little play sets where we're all together and everything. We'll play with little Play-Doh, or she bought him a train set because he's obsessed with trains, and we do coloring and I mean many, many different activities. She actually on my birthday made a video that I didn't even know about. She was able to film him when we were doing some just fun play at the park, and got some footage of him saying happy birthday to me and things like that. And
Wow.
I've been bawling my eyes out and everything watching that, and just her doing that for me, knowing how much my son means to me. Doing that, it's just no words can explain it. Being like I said, every single time, every single day, it's just more and more things where I'm just like, you are truly invaluable, truly invaluable.
And Jamie, when you saw how do you feel about his child? Like, obviously he said great things, but first time meeting him, was you worried? How was it?
I was actually a little bit nervous to meet him for the first time, because I wanted him to like me.
Right.
But yeah, we have like a great relationship. Like, we have our own little inside jokes. Like, we have him and I have our own separate relationship from like me, him, and Jason. And there'll be times where it's like I miss him and I just watch videos of him, or like videos of him and I, or yeah. So we have a really good relationship.
That's great. That's great to hear. Okay. All right, guys. So what is next for you guys?
What's next?
A lot is next. So like we said, Equally Yoked, our YouTube channel is next. We also have some other ideas for things in the relationship field. We have some other ventures and things like that dealing with Equally Yoked that we're going to put out. Also to just kind of helping to cultivate this thing that God has done in us and help people to kind of find the same thing, whether it's men and women. I know for me, my purpose and journey is to speak to men in general, because a lot of there's this man against woman thing nowadays in the world, and my whole thing is to help guys realize, like, look, take the time and pray for God to bring that one. Because if he brings anything outside of that one, it's only going to come with stress, and it's going to make you resent, the opposite sex, and you're going to start feeling like, oh, this and the other, and all the kind of nonsense that we see in social media land today. But just praying for that right one, and to know that there is hope and that God will truly bring you somebody where it just works. Even the way you argue, we discuss things because it's our understanding of each other, things that could potentially be a big situation if somebody doesn't understand each other's love language or how we communicate or have a certain respect for each other. And we just, you'll be able to find that. I know she's wanting to do the same thing for women as well.
Yeah, we believe that our purpose, God has placed us together to be able to help to pour back into other people and encourage people, and however he wants to use us. I want to see more matches and more relationships, whether from Pop the
100%.
Balloon or wherever. I want to see more success in that. And so for him, what he was working on, what God was doing for him was through men. God has been using me to help encourage women, and encouraging and still developing ourselves individually as well. But yeah.
You know what they say, right? God is good all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
So we praise God. We praise God. This is amazing to see, guys. I'm happy. I'm so happy for you. And I'm happy that you two have took some of the things I said and you put it into practice. You keep getting stronger. And everyone that's watching, right? If you see two people happy, be happy for them. So be happy for them, support them, make sure you watch out for their YouTube channel as well. I'll put the name right now on the screen so you can see. But apart from that, guys, do you lot have any final words?
I would just say, if it's final words to anybody watching, I would say just make sure that you're keeping the hope alive and never allow yourself to feel like it's done for you. Because I've been there. I've been there when I felt like, because of whether mistakes that I made or mistakes that I got myself into, that I knew all that God could do. I knew all of it, and it was like, you know what? I'm losing hope. It's not going to happen. Certain things I'm never going to have, and there's a scripture that says His strength is made perfect in our weakness. And so I would say, if somebody is feeling at that place where they're losing hope or losing, that belief, to seek God, truly seek Him, and allow Him to direct you. To what He brings you, because it is a million times better than what you could ever try to plan for yourself. So just be open to that.
Yeah, and I would say be open-minded to how God might work, whether it's through relationships or anything in your life. Like, don't think that your blessing is only going to come one way. Allow God to do what He wants to do, however He wants to do it. Don't be limited by your mindset.
She's so wise.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. I want to thank you for being a good example of what a lot of people are looking for these days. They're looking for that love. I actually want to ask you before we go, would you say that you're both in love?
Deeply, 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 deeply in love.
Okay, that's good. All right, well, thank you guys for coming on the show, and we are going to keep tabs on you. We're going to see how it's all going, and thank you everyone for watching. We will catch you all next time.